Well, hello, everybody. This is a surprise Thursday night edition of Happiest Hour. I'm here with Tates. We mentioned it a little bit last night that this would be going on, so I'm excited that it came to fruition. We're here to talk about some news and get the Crescent Lake Club's content editors insight and opinion on some of the news that we've heard this week. So I'm just going to kind of run through a few things that I don't know I know what his opinion is, but I don't think we want to hear it. But first, hey, Teets, how are you?
Not too bad.
Good. So we're going to start real quick with the announcement today from Universal that they are extending the Mardi Gras Festival through April 11th. I mean, let's be honest, Mardi Gras ended back on Ash Wednesday, but it's fine. It's cool. I'm really excited that I get to experience it. And I didn't get to have a real Mardi Gras in New Orleans, where I live. So I will be there rocking all my finest sequins to show everyone how real Mardi Gras is done. I know Teets is actually pretty sad about that one because he's just going to miss it. Though there's a really great chance he sneaks out on us at some point to go to Universal on my birthday trip when we are there. So that's big news. What do you think about that, Teets?
I mean, I feel like it was kind of expected. Everybody seemed to love Mardi Gras, and
what's not to like?
Yeah, it was just well received, and I mean, I think there's not much else Universal has going on right now until they open the Raptor. So just keep good things going, I guess.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we'll talk about here in a little bit too, and I think it's going to play into a lot of what Teets's opinions are on some of this news. So we heard a lot, also didn't hear a lot from the shareholders call on Tuesday. So, Teach, you want to recap a little bit of that for all of our followers?
Yeah, so every year there is an annual shareholders meeting, and this year it was virtual. Unlike normally it's held in person, and people are able to attend and get sneak peeks at different things. I think last year I know someone who was there, and they watched Mulan before it was released to the world, so that was one of the treats that people in person got to see. But this year there was no in-person event. And normally, it's not usually a huge news type event. It's just usually going over business for the year. They vote on some items. If there's new board members that need to be elected and stuff like that, they go through all that fun stuff. And then they'll just do an overview of the company, essentially. So we got just some basic updates on the film side, things that are still coming. Black Widow's still on pace, stuff like that. And then they dove into the parks and didn't touch on too much, I guess, but they did confirm some things for us and really gave us one big announcement that I don't think many people were expecting, at least not expecting the date that was given. And that would have been Ratatouille being announced for October 1st, 2021 to kick off the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary.
And so what was your immediate feeling on that? Because I will say we've been watching this essentially since January, and we were pretty optimistic that we were going to have at least a soft, if not an actual ride date for when we were there or when we are going to be at Disney in April. And I feel like this was there's a faction that's totally happy to have a date, but for everyone that's been kind of watching dates on the calendar and watching crowd calendars and just availability calendars, this was a complete shock, though for some people it's not a shock at all. So your thoughts?
Well, I guess to start off, I'm not shocked per se because I know their reasoning behind it, but I'm disappointed. If COVID didn't happen Ratatouille would have opened last year. So it would be open right now, and we wouldn't, even be having this conversation. And I think that's part of it. Like, and right now, according to rumors and good sources and whatnot, and people have been on it, they've filmed commercials, they've done all sorts of things with the attraction already. So it's pretty much ready to go, but they're holding it until October. And I do understand why, because they're still at a limited capacity. They want to get their returns on it. But I think at some point, too, you need to accept that this is a pandemic. You're not, everything's operating differently. You have several other rides in the pipeline that are set to open in the next year or two. So I think this Ratatouille is just one that I think they should have just bit the bullet and opened despite waiting for them to go to higher capacities.
So I texted TT last night and I said, we are going to do this, and I want you to assign one news topic to each, yay, Miller Lite, to each of the emotions from Inside Out. And I think it's only fitting that he started with this one, because I'm going to guess this one is disgust.
Yeah, either that or sadness. It's just, I don't know. I'm definitely more upset about this than anything else, because I know they can open it, and there's several ways they can do it without. From based on rumors and such, they're concerned about crowds, and it makes sense. But okay, then you have the ability to open a virtual queue. They have prepped, and they can open at more than one virtual queue. They were prepped to do it when they opened the parks last summer. They were going to open several rides that way. Yeah. And they didn't. So they definitely have the IT infrastructure there ready to go. But I guess it's just not something they want to do.
Yeah, and it's, Courtney and I touched on it a little bit last night. I don't know what the queue size is inside. And you pointed out that the ride itself is supposed to have a really great hourly capacity for throughput of
It's about 2,200, yeah.
So it won't need one of the really long, like 4 or 6 hour queues like we see with Flight of Passage and Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance, something that is just going to house a bunch of people in a big area. But given if it just has a short queue line, and given the space it's taking up in France, and also with one of the most popular Food and Wine Festival and Flower and Garden Festival booths is right there at the Rotunda in France. Like, where do you loop a queue around? I mean, that, especially a socially distanced queue, I can see that as being an issue. But we've seen most of the park goers to Walt Disney World are right now our annual pass holders or people that have toured before and are quite well versed in how to get a virtual queue or a boarding pass for like Rise of the Resistance. And like you said, I don't see why they couldn't just go ahead and employ something like that and say your dining reservation or your kitchen tour is at this time, and go ahead and do it that way. It's just sitting there. We see people going through every day on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, just walking around, just waiting for it to happen. And now to know that it's just sitting there. I'm also in the disgust camp on this one.
Yeah, just knowing what they have Guardians coming, you have Tron coming, and they pushed those off as well. And I understand wanting to have something to kick off the 50th with, but then, okay, why not speed up your construction on Tron? They've intentionally pushed that back. They can intentionally push it forward too.
That shit is boarded off like a haunted house. Like, it's something that the code is about to come in and just make sure it's still livable.
That's another thing. Both of those, if we were in non-COVID times, both of those were set to open this year, and now they're not. So
I think at least we get Guardians in 22. I have no idea what they're going to do with Tron.
Yeah, I believe at least the rumors is Guardians first, Tron will be later.
So We've covered disgust. I think fear. Well, I'm going to leave that aside because fear can have two different meanings. But one of two things we didn't really hear about on the shareholders call, one was harmonious, and we've seen so much testing going on with that. But the other thing that they keep trying to feed us super exciting tidbits about, but did not mention or give us an opening booking date for, is the Star Cruiser Hotel.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what to make of that. They said they was still going to open this year. There haven't been any updates really since they gave us our first look at the rooms.
Yeah, and I thought that was just to basically hype everybody up and get ready. This is what it's going to look like. This is what your little family's cruise pod is going to look like. And then I thought we were going to get Rat. I thought we were going to get Harmonious. I knew we were going to get a Disney cruise ship, and I was for sure we were going to get opening day of the Star Cruiser Hotel. We got 2 out of the 4, and it was not at all what I was expecting.
Yeah, I wonder if they're still waiting on to see where COVID goes with this, because there's a lot of role playing and different interactive things with this hotel. So I think that's probably why they're still waiting out to see just what they can do when they open it. Obviously, the further away they open it, the more they can do. So.
Yeah. So let's say, all right, so out of the shareholders meeting, what gave you joy? Oh, actually, you can just say any theme park news this past week that gave you joy.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's hard. I mean, I don't know. Nothing was really out of this world, like crazy good. I was excited. I don't know if excited, but I was interested in that they mentioned that they're targeting fall for cruising again. I think that's exciting that they are looking to get back, and that's really the first we've heard of anything. They haven't really mentioned anything up until this point, and then they finally gave us kind of a something that they're looking at and a goal for them.
Yeah. And I've listened in on a couple of cruise line calls. I think I talked about it pretty extensively last night, so I'm not going to rehash any of it, but you guys can go back and watch the past video on our YouTube or our Twitch from last night. We talked extensively about cruising, and I think a fall closed loop short itinerary is entirely possible. I think August, September.
Yeah, and to touch on
really
that,
plausible.
I know I don't. I remember if you saw I sent you earlier. There was some talk on Lighthouse Point today that that's still in the works, and they're looking at 2024, 2025 timeframe for that. I believe it was supposed to be 23 previously, but of course, COVID pushed that back. And I believe in there they said they want a Disney ship there 3 to 5 days a week. So that's they'll be utilizing that port quite a bit.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what the itinerary looks like that has Castaway and Lighthouse in one itinerary, because there's lots of people that don't want to do Nassau or Key West, and having one cruise line having 2 private destinations. The only other one that has 2 private destinations is Royal Caribbean. They have Coco Cay and Labadee in Haiti. So it's going to be really exciting to see what they do with some of these new ships or how they reposition ships. And then especially once Lighthouse Point comes on as a port of call for cruise lines. So that's exciting. It'll be definitely something to watch for. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down as that's what gave you joy. We already went through disgust. Fear. Did you hear about anything this week that filled you with fear?
Um, Not really. If my kind of cop out answer for fear was going to be Raptor, just because I don't like roller coasters, and going on that would give me fear. But there wasn't really anything that was fit that.
So we're gonna go a little bit past this week into late last week. Actually, it's still within the week because it was Friday when I was driving. Universal announced that Halloween Horror Nights is coming back in 2021. It's going to be on a much smaller schedule. We don't know the scale, so it's only running from the 1st of September until Halloween night is the last night, and it's only running very concentrated days. So a very, very small calendar for Halloween Horror Nights. But we also got our first haunted house, and it will be Beetlejuice. And also, Tease is going to Halloween Horror Nights. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going. Literally, he's going. So that's his fear, is Halloween Horror Nights. His fear was me telling him he's going to Halloween Horror Nights. Yay.
Yeah.
If you're coming to Orlando for the 50th anniversary celebration, you're also going to Halloween Horror Nights.
Well, I don't know if I'm coming for that yet either, though. So we'll see.
It's a weekend. You're fine. Anyway, so we've covered, discussed joy, fear. Let's hit up anger.
Well, I mean, Rat really does also make me angry, but I don't know.
Why does it make you angry?
Well, I think I look at things that Universal is doing, and really any SeaWorld, whoever. There's all these other parks doing things to entice people to come right now. And here's Disney, half their stuff is still closed. I mean, all the rides are open, but you still have so many restaurants, and all the shows and everything are still shut down. And all these other places are like trying to do different things to make, using creative ideas. And SeaWorld's having nighttime shows. Universal's done some nighttime shows, and Disney's just, whatever.
Is that why you're about to become an annual pass holder at Universal?
That is why I am almost there.
So I will say, I hate to throw him under the bus like this, but I almost wish we could have streamed on Tuesday night, because this guy was hot, was so fired up, and I just don't know if the teats takes would ever stop. He was so mad, I think. So now that you've had a chance to sleep on it, cool light of day, seeing the new decorations going up on the castle, how are we feeling about things?
I don't think I've changed too much. I'm never not going to go to Disney. It's something I'm always going to, at least I hope, is always part of my life. But I'm definitely really starting to look elsewhere to not just give Disney all my money and spread it around.
Wow, you actually said that out loud. No, but that's absolutely fair. And honestly, that's the one way that Disney will realize what they're doing is not working, because when all of the people that have loved them for forever start seeing it for what it is, and there's everyone knows they're just delaying Ratatouille to get the biggest bang for the buck, so they can say, we just opened this for the 50th, it's brand new for all of you that are paying rack rate for the hotels and all of this. It's not the other thing is, it's not a groundbreaking ride. It's been a ride for a long ass time. So it's not like you're giving us anything new. That's the other thing with Tron. It's not anything new. It's been a ride for a while. So, if you're going to hype anything, hype this Guardians thing that you tore down the Epcot nap train for.
And put up a ginormous box.
I don't know. I mean, I'm mostly sad that I just can't go make yourself a mimosa in a Simply juice bottle and just ride that thing for 40 minutes when it's really hot outside.
That's what the movies in World Showcase are for.
You can't sit down. You have to sit on the floor for those. How do you even Disney, bro?
It shows you how much I actually go watch those movies.
Exactly. Exactly. So then your last emotion is sadness.
I guess I could put that as I'm sad we haven't heard anything on any nighttime show, whether it be Harmonious or just anything returning. I think we've heard some rumors that they're looking at summer to bring something back, but I don't know. It's just hard spring break for them right now is super crowded. There's so many things that they could be doing to help spread out the crowds, to give things for people to do, and they're not.
They're feeding publicity to national networks like CNN is like, oh no, we're fully booked for spring break at Disney. And which just makes people that aren't at Disney thinking, oh my gosh, so Disney is now open. Let's go do all these things. Well, it's still just basically nothing open.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably my, I don't know, sadness. We have seen tonight they're testing fountains on Harmonious. So
I don't understand why they couldn't give a date on that one.
Again, I'm sure it probably is Disney being Disney with COVID and being like, I don't want to say something before I can or whatever.
All right. More Disney news. What do you think about today's announcement of the Magic Mobile service? I wrote that blog item, which you can find on crescentlakeclub.com. That's our website, crescentlakeclub.com.
Well, we basically knew it was coming. There has been some leaked images and stuff like that in the past that showcased it was coming. We knew once Magic Bands were going away, they said more features would be coming to the app and stuff like that. As a Uber Magic Band fan, collector person, I will continue to use my Magic Bands.
I'm going to
be able to use my watch.
I'm going to just tell them on our Saratoga Springs that no Magic Band, we will take Keys to the World card, please.
If we're doing that, then I at least request a Donald card because they do have character cards now.
This is why you're sleeping in the bathtub. You don't get a real bed. You have to sleep in the bathtub. And with that head nod, that means he thinks it's worth it for a Donald Keys to the World card. So if you ever needed to know where Teets' priorities lie, you can ply him with a free piece of plastic that has Donald on it. No, so you think we're going to be able to use our Apple Watches to do this kind of stuff?
They've already said, yes, that was part of the announcement. Not just that it's going to roll out with Apple first, but it's supposed to come to pretty much all smart devices.
I mean, just stick with Apple because literally we can't get one member of our group chat that's on a jitterbug. So that's probably our fault. But yeah. Interesting. Also, I can't figure out how. Teets, can you tell me how to get my location to change on my weather on my Apple Watch? I'm so old. So old. So that was a fun announcement. I'll still use my magic band because I like them. I have a bunch of them. I think they're fun, especially the ones that I've bought, like make little funny sounds when I go to use them at the tap style. So I'm not going to give that up unless there's a way I can program this magic mobile experience to like make it bark or whatever, like my doggo magic bands do when
I'm sure Disney will keep that exclusive so you continue to buy the $30 plastic band.
Oh, you know what? You do not magic band shame me because I have 4 of them and you have 400.
Not 400.
How many times do you have to go to the front desk and have them take them off so you can actually function?
I've only had to do it once.
How long did that take?
It took about a half hour because the guy could not figure it out.
Yeah, don't blame him. It is you. It is you. It is you. Don't blame him.
It was just my Illuminations band. All the rest of the bands worked.
There you go. Typical terrible guest blaming the cast member. Blaming the cast member.
He wasn't very. I mean, he was fine, but he kind of was like, it's just not working. Well, okay, what do you want me to do about it?
Blaming the cast member. No, that's you having 900 magic bands. Literally 900 magic bands. So Teats has started a spreadsheet. We're going to touch on that on Sunday with our group of what we are going to go and try during Flower and Garden Fest. But I want to give Teats one last chance to run through any other news, anything else you want to talk about before we just go into general nonsense.
I think the only other thing that really was touched on at the shareholders meeting that I thought was interesting was the mention of the college program and that they are also looking to bring that back possibly later this year, which is a large part of their workforce. I know a lot of people on the social medias were a little they didn't like that news necessarily because they want the 30,000 cast members that were laid off to come back first. But Disney and their cheap labor college program people, I think they'll bring those back as soon as they can.
Well, that and the dirty secret of college program is that Disney also owns all of their housing. So Disney needs to make money off of those 5 people piled into a 2-bedroom apartment.
Especially the new one that they just finished building.
Yeah. And so I thought I'm right there with you, Ryan. I thought it was incredibly interesting. And I almost felt like that the question was a little bit placed that would you extend that opportunity to recently graduated people? To which I think I went straight out on Twitter is like, no, you can just apply for a real job and not have to live with 4 people in a 1-bedroom apartment. If you've graduated college and you want to work at Disney, you can have the same PhotoPass job or food and beverage job. You just don't have to automatically live with 5 people for $500 a month. But there is the glory of the college program. And when we had Keith on a couple of months ago to talk about the Olympics at Disney and his work at Disney, and he worked at the college program. And I have friends that I worked with from Disney who are recruiters for the college program. And I know it's one thing that people, I think both guests and Disney fans that are in college are really excited to come back because they see the value in it. I wish they could see what that it is just cheap labor, cheap exploited labor.
I think maybe when it first started, because it wasn't so huge like it is now.
Yeah.
And they offered a lot more like class opportunities and things like that. I think that's when it was really.
Oh, especially back when like Disney Institute existed and you had to go so it was back when I worked at Disney and Traditions was 3 days long. Like you had to go to 3 days of Traditions and then you did 1 day just at the park you were working at. And then you did like 1 to 5 days in the division you are working at that park, yeah, that's where it makes a difference. That's where you grow the culture and you learn what it's like to be a part of this big thing. But now, no. Like, is traditions even 5 hours now?
Yeah, it's definitely not more than a day. I think it's even at just like a half a day. Yeah.
Yeah, so like 5 hours. Yeah. And then you had to do 2 days of traditions, and then they walk you down to this trailer, and you'd have to sit there, and they take your picture and cut it out with one of them square cutters, and then laminate your ID, and you'd have to make sure they double check what color it was. Oh, oh my gosh, this is blowing Tita's mind, because this is before you had like a machine that could just print an ID out. They had to like layer it all together and run it through a laminator. What else you got? You had all sorts of hot opinions. So you told me you wanted to stream to talk about how they just lost you as a hardcore Disney supporter.
And I think they still. I mean, they are. I'm not. Like I said earlier, I'm looking at a Universal annual pass. I'm looking at taking more trips to Universal versus my typical 3 or whatever trips a year to Disney. I still obviously.
Why don't you talk about those reasons a little bit more? Because it's not just cost anymore, though, right?
No, well, I like I said, they're just, at least right now, they're not doing anything to entice me. They're, I think, I guess because Universal is still fairly new to me, there's still a lot there I haven't experienced. And I have done most things that there is to do right now at Disney, except for some tours or the only Epcot festival I haven't done is Festival of the Holidays,
Which is one of my favorites. But
so I think, really there's not a whole lot that, I don't know. It's just, I'll keep coming back to Disney, especially if Run Disney returns. That's like my big draw, and not just so much for the parks, but for the people. I've met a lot of people through that, and getting to see them at those weekends is really, really my main drawback for those. I don't know. I just think there's more to do elsewhere right now versus then continuing to go back to Disney.
all right, so what announcements are you excited to hear about from non-Disney parks?
Well, I think the one that we're all waiting for is the Raptor and Velocicoaster at Universal, which theoretically should be coming at any time now. They keep saying summer.
They talked about it every day. Every day. Summer, 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 which means never summer.
Today, I think today they tweeted something about do raptors like to eat mice or rats or something? That was pretty good. So yeah, I'm interested to see if they continue the model of like Mardi Gras, if they add any other sort of festivals going forward. I think they've seen that that's successful, and obviously people love it. Disney does it at Epcot pretty much constantly. So I think I'd be interested to see if they have more plans for events like that.
So, and just, again, I'm a Mardi Gras purist. It ends at midnight on Mardi Gras Day, because Ash Wednesday, there's no more King Cake, there's no more Mardi Gras after that. However, I will wear all of my sequin shit. Because now that it's extended, I will show them what Mardi Gras really looks like and what we do. And that Feet Don't Fail Me Now is not really a Mardi Gras song, but that's fine. No, I'm actually excited to see it and to try some of the food, because I looked at the menus and the price points, and goodness, it's at least $2 to $4 cheaper for everything at the Mardi Gras Food Festival. Also, they're doing what Disney used to do, with Food and Wine Festival, and we'll sell lanyards that are tiered on pricing based on whether you have express pass, whether you're an annual pass holder, or just a regular park goer. So for like $65, I can get a lanyard with like 8 or 10 punches on it, and that'll basically cover everything that we want to try there. And again, what it it's just one of those things that now like I said, it's not Mardi Gras, but I'm really excited to try everything from Mardi Gras because I can get a lanyard for the three of us that are going through to do all of the Mardi Gras things at Universal when we're there. And I'm really excited about it. I'm not so much excited about Disney trying to sneak a vegetable into a margarita. I don't know. And then it's like maybe, well, no, everyone knows I've been Disney burnt out for a long time and I'm a Universal stan. But it's nice to see people coming around to the fun that Universal offers. And, like, I think we talked about it the last time we talked about Universal. I begged Teets for a couple years to go to Universal. Like, I will buy you a ticket. Come to Universal. He's like, nah. Like, I'm a Disney guy.
I think a big part of that though was most of my trips were race weekends, and I never. It was hard to go, just take a day away from a race weekend. I could have done it on like a 5 or 10K day, but I definitely wasn't going to do it on the half or the full day and stuff like that. So I think that's probably the biggest reason it took me so long. But now I definitely will go back.
So here is the sadness, if we're bringing up emotions, because I think we all talked about it in our Crescent Lake Club group, and we may have talked about it a little bit on stream. But what is your real reason for going to Disney now? Is it because you love Disney that much and you have to go and there's something you have to go to? Or is it just an excuse to be with your friends?
I think it's a mix of both. And I going back to what you talked about being burnt out. I think that's probably part of it too. I've done at least 3 trips a year for the last since 2018 that's when I got my annual pass. So I've done at least 3 trips a year since then. So I think that's part of it. Obviously, seeing friends and that kind of thing has always been. I had some solo trip, and I do like those too. It's a different kind of trip, but I don't think I would go on a solo trip right now to Walt Disney World, at least not the rest of this year.
Would you go on a solo trip to Universal Orlando?
Yes, and I am considering. Well, at least I'm thinking about something this summer, possibly.
And what would because you just want to do Velocicoaster and Hagrid just back and forth.
Yes.
Oh, and then Tucson. You didn't get to go to Tucson when we were there. I think that was the one thing we kind of missed out on.
Yeah, and I'll of course get another voodoo donut. I don't need 4 of them this time, but I'll get.
I did get 4 of them. Yeah, it's so crazy. And then how Ryan talks to me all the time about his feelings about Disney, and I see them starting to catch up to where I am with Disney, and to where, especially like our friend Whitty, you guys know her from stream too. She got stranded in Orlando because of the ice storm that kept her from flying back to Memphis. And she's like, we're lucky we had a car. We stayed off-site, and then we just started venturing out to on-site restaurants. And she's like, so yeah, now I know I'm going to this place for my tacos and margaritas. I don't have to go and do all these things at Disney anymore. And I think Disney is thinking that this is going to sustain them for now, but they gotta ramp things up and do things differently to keep up with what is going down further I-4. Even SeaWorld is doing some really great stuff, regardless of how you feel about SeaWorld. But they also have if you have kids, they have that adorable Sesame Street area that is just fantastic. And then you can go the opposite direction to Busch Gardens, which I think is still owned by the same group that owns SeaWorld.
Yep.
But they've got crazy coasters and an animal experience, a lot of great food and beverage.
Opening a giraffe bar later this month.
Giraffe bar. It basically looks like your outdoor kitchen, but like giraffes walk all the way around you. Who wouldn't want to go and experience that? And it's at a fraction of what Disney is asking for. So I think we all are starting to see, especially as annual pass holders, are starting to see where we kind of fall in the hierarchy of what Disney appreciates. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, and kind of touching on that with the annual pass holder thing, you see like Universal they'll do like different buttons or whatever every month, whereas Disney first just brought back some leftover magnets that they had in probably a box somewhere in a closet and brought those out and said, here, come to Animal Kingdom on a weekday only from like this time to this time to pick it up.
When we were there in November, they opened the annual pass holder store at Germany in the World Showcase, and it's just merch from last year that they couldn't sell. And then if you bought over like $50,
Yep.
You got the free coasters or whatever was the Food and Wine Festival giveaway.
Yep.
That you didn't get that you had to wait. Previously, you had to wait in like an hour and a half line to get. It's annoying. Yeah. The annual pass holder lounge at Universal is great. You go in, you just scan real quick. They give you your button and magnet for that month. And then you walk straight out. Sometimes they give you a free Coke if you'd like a free Coke. But every month there's a new little button that goes on your lanyard, and they're super cute. Super cute. I don't know. I feel also, the discounts are better. Everything changes. At Universal, if you're an annual pass holder, there are certain months that you get early access just like hotel guests get. Disney isn't giving you that.
No. Nope.
I don't know. The perk, like if you like bits and little things, and then so many like Voodoo Donuts does annual pass holder donuts. The Creperie at Universal Studios Orlando does a special annual pass holder. Everywhere there's like a special food item or a special dining area with a special menu, like at Lombardo's or Lombard's at Universal Studios upstairs is an annual pass holders only restaurant that has a special menu. There's just a lot of things. They're starting to appreciate annual pass holders. And I think annual pass holders at Disney, it's just like, okay. Show up.
Yeah.
Here's your what you get is your different pool of park reservations you can pick.
But you can only pick 3. Only get 3.
Only three.
Unless you pay for a resort stay, then you can pick more. And which, going back to that, annual pass. It seems annual pass holder rates look really good at Universal compared to what you get at Disney. And Universal resorts aren't crazy expensive like Disney to begin with.
So we stayed at. I think now that he's had time to sleep back on it, because when we stayed at Cabana Bay for that one night, you were super fighting it. It's like, oh, this is pop. This is Universal's version of pop. This is pop. This is pop. This is pop. For a Pop Century price, we stayed in connecting Volcano Bay view rooms at Cabana Bay. Was that like staying at Pop?
No. And I'm always going. I'm
But
gonna.
you love Pop.
I do. I mean, I do. I will say, I've come. It's hard for. It's gonna be hard for me to when I go back. I'm gonna stay at Pop again, but it'll be hard for me when I go back because I think my last 4 or 5 trips have all been deluxe.
Oh, deluxe. Yeah. So you're gonna be, and you stayed at the deluxe value of Universal. So, oh my God, you're gonna be like, why am I up? You're gonna be like me at Pop in 2020. Like, why am I here?
And even then, because like, if I do a summer trip to Universal, I'm looking
You're gonna
at
try Endless Summer, right?
that's what I've been looking at because while they're value hotels, they still look really good. And I didn't have, at least when we were there in November, but we kind of hit a perfect storm there too. But bus service, we had no complaints about at Universal.
Oh my goodness. Like it was literally, they said every 5 minutes, and it literally was every 5 minutes. We're like, I'll ride a bus at Universal. I'm not riding a bus at Disney, but I'll ride a bus at Universal.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to try that out, whether it's this summer or not. I do want to stay there and check those places out.
So we've hit on Joy. Joy is offerings at Universal. So yeah, tell us more. How much are you looking forward to Halloween Horror Nights?
I've never been one for scary movies. Like, if you wanted to watch like It or something, I would probably not stick around. It's not my kind of thing. So it's really never been on my radar. I think I would definitely do it at least once to just see how it is. We'll see how much actually, like haunted houses I'd go into, but yeah.
Oh, it's so fun. You've heard, I worked today a little bit on putting the audio. So coming up on our YouTube channel, you'll hear my audio. Oh my gosh, it was one of the last days of Halloween Horror Nights because it was November 1st. It was the day after because it wasn't Halloween night. Anyway, I went through Graveyard Games on one of the last nights of Halloween Horror Nights 2019, and I actually recorded audio of me going through there because nobody believes that I'm afraid of things, and I really hate things jumping out at me. Super afraid of that. So I recorded audio. Well, I was able to find a bunch of pictures, and I've worked on the slideshow, so that's going to be on our YouTube channel. The fun thing was Leslie was with me, and we played it for Angela the other day when we were painting my kitchen here in Texas, and she's like, Keely. I'm like, I think Teets heard it the night it happened.
Yep.
But I real apologize. I told everyone, I'm like, listen, I'm going to yell a whole lot. I'm going to say this isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real a lot. I make no apologies. Halloween Horror Nights is so fun. That's my joy, is that Teets is going to experience Halloween Horror Nights this year.
I guess you could kind of going to bounce off of Disney again too. Universal's announced that they're going to do Halloween Horror Nights, and where's Disney announcing where's their Halloween party, or stuff like that? They haven't announced that they're doing anything yet.
Well, and the weirdest thing is Halloween Horror Nights is way more intensive than Mickey's Not So Scary. Because let's be honest, Mickey's Not So Scary is an upcharge to get candy that you can buy at Walgreens, to watch a parade, to see fireworks, and meet characters that people have already lined up for before you even got into the park. Well, you can't do the characters, and there's probably not going to be a parade.
Well, even you could still do cavalcades. Just run down one float at a time every 20 minutes or something.
But who's going to pay $119 per person for that?
There's a ton of people that would pay for that.
Would
I
it
can
be
guarantee
you?
that. I would not. No.
Would you pay $70 for Halloween Horror Nights?
Yes, because I've never done it. I've done the Halloween party now, and I know what it's like. I don't necessarily need to do it again. I would do it again, but it's not something that's like top of my list. I would do the Christmas party because I haven't done it, even though I know that probably wouldn't be a great value either. But I just I like to experience new things. So something I haven't done I'd be more inclined to do than something I already have.
Oh my God. You and I can hold hands and cry together in the haunted houses, and Angela and Leslie will protect us. Angela would be like, no, sir. No, sir. She also point like, that one. This one. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like, if y'all have been to Universal and been on Kong, Skull Island, or whatever, like, I knew there was a chance in non-COVID days that there was a character that would hop up at you, but it was just enough of the cue and the threat and the music, and I'm like, I just gotta get the F out of here. And everyone's like, what are you doing? And Leslie is like, this is her from Halloween Horror Nights. She's like, I had to do this for 8 haunted houses. It's okay. I'm not afraid to admit I'm a scaredy cat. Teets, what else are you excited about? You got a movie in mind? You got
Well, if we're going,
a hotel stay in mind? You got anything else in mind that you're excited about?
Well, I know you're excited about some Saratoga Springs, which I have stayed at twice, and I really like Saratoga. I think it's underrated. I don't think a lot of people even consider it.
Shh, let's not tell them about it.
So I definitely enjoy Saratoga. I guess this would be my first off-property stay. I don't really count the Dolphin as an off-property stay, but this would be my first probably off-property stay ever. So
I'm actually really excited for you to experience this because, well, yeah, my birthday trip is basically sponsored by Courtney. Gosh, she's the best. But so we're staying offsite at Bonnet Creek at the Wyndham Bonnet Creek, which I've stayed at once with her, but it's a first time for everybody else. And I love it because it's just so much space and a big balcony and so many pools. Like one of the pools has a pirate slide, another has a lazy river. But the other thing is what we've learned in pandemic times, I think Teets will agree, is that Disney transportation sucks. And it's really worth it to have a rent-a-car or your own vehicle to get around because you can just drive from park to your resort or park to park. And it comes in handy, especially when you're like us, that we're all annual pass holders, so we don't have to pay to park at the resorts. But being able to be the master of your own transportation is huge, huge. Because I know in November we waited for you for like an hour and a half to come from Animal Kingdom, and that's why we just started picking you up. Because it took 5 minutes for us to drive to come and get you.
Well,
And then,
I mean, that resort is also still like basically shut down. I was the only one at the bus stop for like a good 45 minutes.
so here's the one thing that I just wish Teets was more of a movie watcher, because he missed out on a super, super huge opportunity to film his own independent film, Animal, The Shining, Animal Kingdom Lodge Jumbo House.
Yeah, if that's the place you want to
Oh my
make
gosh,
a movie,
and
you can go.
and we
do
could
that.
have had Leslie and Angela downstairs going, red rum, red rum.
I'm sure some screaming animals outside would add to the ambiance too.
Yes.
There was a bird that like one morning was just screeching like I don't think if anybody was around, they definitely were not sleeping through that.
Do you think they called the front desk?
I'm sure somebody did.
Do you think someone had to go out, Miss Ostrich? I think you should just tone it the fuck down. Because Karen in 2062, her toddler, ma'am, Miss Ostrich, ma'am, she is a DVC owner and has been. Her name is on the front of this building. Can you just do your ostrich things somewhere else, ma'am? God, that's an SNL skit right there that I just did. You're welcome. If you guys are liking this quality content, if you're watching on Twitch, hit that purple follow button, or on YouTube, hit subscribe and the bell notification. That's how you know that we're coming on doing all this. I'm in my backyard right now. Teets is drinking a beer in the basement. Took the time to hang up his popcorn buckets. Hey, so what popcorn buckets are you seeking out in April?
Nothing as of right now, unless they come out with something different.
What about sippers?
We'll see about the orange bird when I get there. That may have to happen.
Never mind. I know where all this shit goes that you buy.
Well, two things are right here.
I was gonna say where's like the Star Wars one? You don't want to flop them out every week to do something different, or are these just your two favorite ones?
These are the ones that were just in the basement, so that made it easy. The Star Wars one is on a shelf in my bedroom.
Oh, so update for everyone. Teets did mount, not in the way you're thinking, his lightsaber that he built at Savvy's. So again, go check out our YouTube for a review of Teets building his lightsaber. Was it sad to put it just up there knowing that you can't fight with it again, or is it in reach where you can just grab it?
Well, I would have to stand on a chair to get it, but it's easy enough to access if I were to bring it down, use it for something.
If someone from like the dark side came through, you'd be able to like hop up and grab it.
It's better than just sitting in its case in the corner of my bedroom that it was previously. So,
like your droid?
Yes, my droid is in that same corner.
He's just going to live in a corner. He actually has a personality. You bought personality chips for this thing.
Yes.
This is why you can't have a pet.
I'd probably bring it out to scare the pet.
No, you bring Sid out to scare the pet. The droid will just be super foregone conclusion. Poor droid. Poor droid. I'm going to go do Ollivanders again for my birthday. see if they give me the same wand. And if they offer me up the same wand, yes, I will buy it again because I'm a sheep.
And you complain about me.
Super sheep. Well, wands are $40.
Yeah, well.
How much them droids in that lightsaber?
More than double. Well, the droid is more than double. The saber is...
So, 2 wands, less than 1 droid. And I bring my wand back and I use it at the park. You saw me.
I mean, I can bring my droid back. I just haven't.
I gave you a back. I made a backpack for it so you could bring it back.
Maybe I'll surprise you and bring it in April.
I'm dubious. All right. My laptop has 11%. I think y'all are done listening to us. Teets, any last words? Do you want to get it off your chest? While I go get my charger real quick. So just talk for 2 seconds.
Well, I don't think there's a whole lot more to say. We do have some things in the works, obviously. We have a new foodie find tomorrow. Top 3, bottom 3 on Saturday as normal. And of course, streaming on Sunday. I don't know if... I know she's always got something planned. We have our Milwaukee Bucks segment that is coming that is going to be real interesting. And I'm sure there will probably be some news tomorrow that gets posted on the site as well. Also, we have our Twitter and Instagram and Facebook to keep up to date with those. I don't think there's too much else going on.
Who knows? What happened?
And then I lost it. My browser decided to refresh on me for some reason.
I know. So Teets did a great rundown of what more content we have. I meant, Teets, you have some hot opinions.
I don't even remember what everything I texted you at this point. I've kind of forgotten a lot of it.
So Teets is angry at Disney. Oh, so I do have one thing that all of you annual pass holders need to go and check out and should be super upset about, because when it came down that the date was October 1st for 50th anniversary and Ratatouille, luckily I was able to jump in and make reservations for most of the Crescent Lake Club, except for 2 members, Angela and Teets, who both had expiration dates in June for their annual passes. So,
and that's with the extension. Originally, my expiration date is in January.
And Angela's was in January too. So Teets acknowledged the extension according to the people on the reservation line, because Angela was over here yesterday on the phone for like 2 hours about it. But Angela was never... her pass got extended without her requesting an extension. And so while the flip side was she basically got the last 3 months of park travel free, she still missed out on being able to get Magic Kingdom passes for the 50th anniversary. So I'm going to keep trying on that one. And Teets, your renewal will come up on April 6th. But I think it's really, really shitty that Disney makes you go in and physically renew an annual pass.
Well, and two, this was kind of the way it was before. You had to make reservations with Fast Pass as well. Some people would run into the issue where they couldn't make all their Fast Passes because their annual pass wasn't considered valid because they were too early to renew and then couldn't obviously book their passes.
So I'm just going to, so Teats has an annual pass through my address in Florida. Do you pay monthly or
Yes.
you pay? So I pay monthly. So just to throw it out there, I pay my Universal Pass monthly. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to keep charging you monthly until you tell us you want to stop. And so I never have to worry about renewing my annual pass at Universal. The fact that I have to go and tell Disney 60 days out, yes, I want to renew it, and just keep paying you monthly, just keep running this. That's the other thing. It's like you can look back. It's so frustrating. Disney needs to revamp their annual pass program to actually make it a benefit to annual pass holders, because it's become annual passes are just for people that are going to come for 10 days twice a year, and it's cheaper for them to buy an annual pass than for the people who are actually going to go and what the annual pass is for. And I think we saw it massively at Disneyland, and I hope they do the same thing, because there's no value for an annual pass at Walt Disney World right now other than it's just cheap.
Well, you can't even buy them right now anyways, so.
Yeah, but even if you have one, there's no like value add for it, and it's still hard to get tickets anywhere. You can't renew it. Whoa, my hair looks wrong. Wait, the lights above. Like, wow, when did my hair change colors? But yeah, I'm a glutton for a pin. I'll go get a pin. Tell me more, Universal.
I mean, heck, Disney could put out the stupid orange bird magnet that they were supposed to release last year, and I would be happy, but they don't.
Okay. I'm not in the right mind space to give you a lesson on worthiness, but you need to value yourself more than an orange bird magnet. You're worth more than an orange bird magnet.
Well, I don't think that's a whole lot different than a button at Universal, so.
What about a button every month?
Well, there you go. If Disney gave me a magnet every month, that would be amazing. But they never have, and I highly doubt they ever will.
Here we go. Keep going. I'm listening. We're all friends here.
I think I don't obviously.
I just close us out with Teats. Close us out with Teats' take, and let's just get it done. You've wanted to do this. Let's do it. Here, Bo's here.
Annual passes in Disneyland are quite different than what they are in Disney World. But I think Walt Disney World kind of takes them for granted and doesn't feel like they need to do anything for annual passes in Florida because they're just always there, and they're not their, that's not their bulk of their money. Their bulk of their money is people taking 10-day trips once a year. So
That's your Teats' take.
Yeah, that annual pass holders in Florida are undervalued.
And what level is your annual pass?
I am a gold.
Oh, because you own DVC.
My first annual pass was a platinum, but
my first was a platinum. My first up until recently, even with Florida Resident Raid, I was a Platinum Plus. And then it went from Platinum Plus to Silver.
There's definitely I haven't been to a water park in a decade, so there's no need for me to do that.
Oh, you're missing out.
I do want to go back to a water park though. That is definitely it wouldn't be something I would do every trip, so that's why I don't really need it on my annual pass.
All right, so we've got Teets's take. You've heard it from me. Teets kind of highlighted. We're all going to be back on Sunday. We are going to be going through all of our Bloomin' Booze offerings and what we want to do. I'm also there will be no wheel. Also, I promised again, there will be no wheel. But I will be giving the rules and situation for our March challenge, Mouse Madness. I'm super excited about this one. So all the members of the Crescent Lake Club will be competing for your votes on their favorite resorts. And that's Mouse Madness happening on Sunday. Then on Monday, Tates and I are talking Iron Man, the OG.
I still need to watch that. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, good. Me either.
Football's taking up all my time these days.
It's not even football season.
Well, you tell that to the state of Wisconsin.
Good. Give me their phone number. I'll make a call. And then Courtney and I are back on Wednesday for Wind Down Wednesday. But again, thank you guys for watching us tonight for Happiest Hour. Teets had a lot to get off of its chest and talk about Disney news. I love talking about Universal. Also, don't forget to go to our website, crescentlakeclub.com. We have a really great blog. I have a really great blog item on there right now about Magic Mobile. Listen.
That's only because I was busy.
Do you like that 17 minutes with me just to write it and post it and send the link back to you? Do you like that 78 out of 100 headline? Okay.
If you really wanted to impress me, you would have posted it on social media places.
I don't have any of the logins.
You have Instagram and you are an admin on Facebook, so don't even.
Oh, I don't do Facebook.
Oh, I know, but
I
did give you the login for the Twitter, but
I can barely handle my own social media. Anyway, so thank you guys again. We love all of our followers. If you're watching us on Twitch, again, if you love this quality content, just hit that follow button. We appreciated it. For all of y'all on YouTube, again, just hit that subscribe and the bell for notifications when we go live. We're going to have some really great giveaways come April from our trip. So you want to make sure that you are following us when we go live and you have no idea when we're going to be giving something out. So again, thank you all so much. Have a good one. I guess Teets, have a good night. I'll say bye to you.